Hi, welcome to Austria. We're in the middle of a triple header here, 3 races back to back, and I thought I'd make this short video really just to give you a bit of an idea on what we kind of do in this sort of period of time. If we kind of break the Formula One season down into a year, January, February, March is when we really train at a really high intensity. So we're looking at an average of about 20 to 25 hours a week, and it's a solid program working towards a specific goal, whatever the goal is that particular season. When we get into the season itself, we tend to gradually taper down the training and increase the rest and recovery, because with the amount we travel, we just don't get an opportunity to recover enough if we're still training to the same level of intensity at the beginning of the season throughout. So it's it's more a focus really on rest, recovery, boosting the immune system. So in between these races, for example, for sure we'll be doing a little bit of training, but it'll be more core based, it'll be more recovery based training, so a much lower intensity just to keep the body ticking over. We're not really looking to work towards any other specific goals. We're not trying to improve or increase fitness levels. It's really just about maintaining what we've really achieved in January, February, March. So at the moment, like I say, it's we focus a little bit more on mobility work, recovery work, like I say, a lot of work on boosting the immune system. It's really just a question of keeping the drivers healthy and in one piece. We've obviously got a little bit of a break after Silverstone, where we again focus more on recovery, because we've then got again 2 races back to back. But it's a quite an intense period of time. So I think when we look at Formula One in general, it's not really just the drivers and people like us, the trainers, that have to focus on this. I mean, the teams work really hard, and everyone in Formula One at this particular time of year, it's tough for all of them. People try and rotate staff where they can, just to give some people an opportunity to get a little bit of rest. But if we look at, say, I don't know, the staff just within our own team in Ferrari, Daniele, the guy that looks after all the catering stuff in Ferrari, and the girls that work with him, they're on like a 21-day straight stint at the moment. There's no day off, they don't go home. So it's an intense period of time for them, and I think what people don't see when they watch a Formula One race at the weekend is all the hard work that goes on behind the scenes with people like the catering staff, the mechanics. Because if I give you an example of, say, Daniele's program, he'll do the race we had last week in France. Monday for him was travelling here to Austria. Then he has to get all the shopping done to get all the food in for the mechanics, and then they start again. The catering girls as well, they took a, I think, 12 to 14 hour coach trip or minivan trip from France to here. So their day off, if you like, was 12 hours in a minivan. And then they have to come in and again prepare the food to look after the mechanics. The mechanics obviously do the race on the Sunday. They flew home Sunday night after Austria. Monday morning they have to be in the factory working on the car. The car gets transported back Sunday night from the race in France to Maranello in Italy to be ready for the next morning to get everything sorted out. So it's a really intense and grueling period of time. I think from here, talking to some of the guys yesterday, we use 32 drivers to get the trucks from here to Silverstone. So 16 do the first sort of stint, then the other 16 follow. So it's a massive amount of work to get all of this stuff from one place to another. It's a massive amount of work just for the guys that work in Formula One, just to do the job they're doing, to put on the show you see every weekend. The people that work for Formula One's management company, it's the same stuff. All the camera people, all the crews, they're getting maybe 1 day off in between all of these races before they have to travel again. So it's a really intense period. So it's when we look at Formula One drivers and the rest and recovery, I think what's really important is it doesn't really matter what you're doing. The rest and recovery is sometimes a very underestimated part of a training program or life in general. And it's a really important part when we look at performance of a driver, for example, trying to get the best out of people. The rest and recovery is just such a massive part of it. And you can do all the training in the world, you can be super fit, you can really focus on the nutrition, but if the rest and recovery isn't correct and isn't adequate enough, you're still not going to be performing at your best. So like I say, that's what we really try and focus on in between these races. And like I say, as the season goes on, anyway, the training, from at least from my side with what I do, we tend to taper it down and again, like I say, focus more on the recovery stuff. It's like I say, just intense. But anyway, that gives you a little bit of an idea, hopefully, of number one, what we do a little bit, and number two, just how hard people in Formula One work in general. Like I say, my hats go off to them because I tend to cruise in with the driver, and I get a few days off in between the races, whereas a lot of people don't. So hats off to everyone that is doing more hours than me. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this short video, and I'll make another one soon. Take care, bye bye.